All right, episode 168. Look, you're going to want to tune in on this one, and you're going to want to save this. You want to share it because we have a special guest in today who's going to share how she's made over $500,000 a year working with investors. We're going to get started right now. All right, episode 168. This one's going to be the best one yet.
The best one yet.
One yet.
It's going to be great when we get a guest appearance from Kelderman.
Yes.
Who we just having lunch
Oh.
no more than an hour ago.
Yeah, I don't.
And now he's like, I'm going to be coming in hot, guys. I was like, but I was just with you.
I mean, coming in hot, 9 minutes late.
We're eating lunch a block down the road. I don't know how did you get lost?
Look, first off, coming in hot means that you're actually making it on time. It's not 10 minutes late.
Yeah, you can't be late and still be coming in hot.
Yeah,
I think that's
not,
just being late.
Yeah, that's not how it works. But what's coming in hot right now are our sponsors of this show, because you're going to want to listen to this one on how to make $500,000 just working with investor clients, right? So this one's going to be a great one. We have Beth Silverman in from Tampa, and she's going to be sharing her strategy of working with investors. She's got a certain niche that's really paying off. And so today's show is sponsored by Mortgage Mike, the Mortgage Mike of Texas.com. Go ask him for that Mortgage Mike stamp of approval, right? He's about to launch, and he's going to get pissed I'm doing this right now.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because he says, I always commit him.
These are my favorite moments in the show when Nick just declares that somebody's going to get mad at what he's about to say and then just continues to talk. I love it. Let's hear it.
We're going to put him on the spot here.
Okay.
Is Mortgage Mike has committed to a very great webinar for your buyer clients, right? And so, as what we found in the lending world, the mortgage loan officers, is that they don't know how to provide value. All they do is they call you up and they're like, "Hey, Brian, how's your business? You doing good? Yeah, great. Well, just to let you know, we're doing this special loan program, and I'd love to earn your business. Do you have any buyers for me?" No, I don't.
Not really.
I don't.
No.
Yeah, that silence is the same thing I do when they call me too.
I was trying to think of a better objection, but no.
You don't have any because it's not a value add. And so Mortgage Mike is building out a great webinar for your buyers. It's going to be a great value add for you as an agent. It's going to make you look like the market expert. And it's going to help you convert more buyers into commission, which is what you need to have right now.
I think we should start a thing on the show just to test our power and our range, just to start saying that our vendors have committed to stuff. Even if they have, like, for every loan you do with Mortgage Mike, he's gonna what is it where you adopt the children overseas? The commercials, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
He could do that, by the way. It would be pretty affordable. It's not that much.
What if we just get him to actually adopt a pet from the shelter that he has to take home?
Tobacco will rescue a puppy.
Yes,
for every.
Yes,
he's got a big spread up there in Van Alstyne.
He's got an acre.
He could probably get 300-400 puppies in his backyard.
Yeah. So so call him up. Go to mortgagemikeoftexas.com and say, look, I want that Mortgage Mike stamp of approval because I know that for every loan that we close, you're going to adopt a puppy from the shelter. Right? You're going to save that puppy's life. So, all right, mortgagemikeoftexas.com. You know who else is committed to that adoption of puppies is Armadillo.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Theron's also going to do that.
Yes. Theron Smith, Armadillo Home Warranty. Go to armadillo.one/tour, Tore. I know that I had lunch with my old broker, Jay Robbins, today, and he connected with Theron, and Theron is offering up some great stuff for their home buying webinar that they're doing.
Nice.
So, Theron, great job on that. As an agent, you're going to want to refer your clients to that, because they need that hard shell protection.
They do. I have hard shell protection on all of my homes with Theron. I hope something breaks.
I would like the shirt that lists the one-page home warranty, please.
The one-page home warranty.
Yes.
I like it.
Does he have that shirt?
He has one. Or he has them. He's probably got a bunch. It's a good marketing thing. I like it a lot.
So for every warranty that you do, he'll give you a shirt.
T-shirt.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great advertising.
It is. Someone needs to adopt Kelderman and help get him to places on time. That's right.
Can we? Is there a timer we can start, Jesse, that just keeps counting up until Kelderman gets here? Because I think it just
6 minutes of show
is the
time
door about to open.
and 13 minutes of when we're supposed to start talking.
I
Yeah.
saw somebody walk by. We'll just.
Oh.
Coming in hot.
3:13. I love it.
3:13. All
Nailed
right.
it.
All right. So let's finish with the property management company that is never late. They're always on time. And that's Dana Wynn over at Homeward DFW. Just go to homewarddfw.com and tell them that the guys from the podcast sent you over there and that she's always on time, never late. She'll personally go out to walk your property, and she loves to do that. So
It's her favorite thing.
homewarddfw.com. All right, today's show, I'm excited to have Beth, and I've known Beth for a long time now, and she has shared with me some strategies that has been working for her, and that's actually going to be working really, really well in the next market, this new market that we are in. And over 60% of her business is working with real estate investors. So she's done a little over $23 million. So if you calculate that, that's over $500,000 in net commissions just off of investor clients. So Beth, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, you guys. I'm
Yeah.
excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, one, walk us through. You got to tell us the story. How did you come to love this show? Like, how did you learn about this?
I love
I
that
told you.
that's
I
what
told
you're
you.
starting
I
with.
told you I was going to start out with this.
I ended up, I don't remember when it started, but I know that I watched probably like 60 episodes. Like I started from number 1. And then I watched it was every single day while I did my makeup. I watched you guys, and so I prop my phone up, while I'm putting my makeup on, and then I got caught up relatively quickly, and I always watched the episodes probably a day or two after. One time I caught y'all live and I saw you on my big screen computer and I was like, wow, they look so good on the screen.
Oh, thank you.
I was like, on my phone, I'm barely looking at you guys. But yeah, no, I love the show because I love the topics that you cover. I love the dynamic between the three of you guys. Yeah, and I know about all your sponsors. I mean, I can talk about all of your sponsors just from listening to the show.
I think one of the super.
Oh, who's this?
Oh, look at that voice from the ether. I had shit to do. So here's the deal. I think one of the really cool things, and I actually said this prior to even before the show started, and because we've made no mistake about it. Like sometimes we're not always all on the same page with exactly what's happening the day of the show. So I knew we had somebody on, and I text Nick and I said, "Who's on?" He said, "Beth Silverman's on." I said, "You know what's freaking rad?" And I want this is what I want to prove to people. Beth and I, like so many people in my life, have legitimately never met in person, but have the second you do it, I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, Beth always comes on and
yes,
we hang out on social media together. We do all these things. And I think sometimes people forget how close you get to people. It's part of the reason why we do the podcast. And it's like kind of what Nick was probably trying to like DQ into saying is like you can develop all of these really cool relationships with people in so many amazing different ways. And I'm excited to get into the investor side of stuff because I know you do so many other things, but I am just always in awe of when I get to meet somebody that I thought I already knew.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing. And you are a perfect example of this. So I'm
Yes,
super happy.
and I feel the same
I'm
about you.
here.
I love you guys.
Well,
I really
thank
do.
you, and thank you for listening. And by the way, we just turned on the cameras and started a podcast because this truly is what we're like all the time. I mean, usually Jesse talks more. We took his mic away today, but this is literally just what it's like to hang out with us every day.
I mean, seeing Jesse's face for the first time today was amazing because you're
Yes.
always talking at him
That's so
Yep.
true.
or yelling about Googling and.
We're
We're
not great at it either. We do need to get Jesse Cam, real professional productions. You actually know who the person is. We're just sitting there talking to each other. While everybody who's watching is just watching me talk, and the three of us are having a conversation or whatever, right?
No, I like that Jesse's face is in on there. Kind of gives that appeal. It's like
It's like Wilson.
Yeah,
Wilson
from.
That's what's weird that we both thought of that same thing. The Wilson from Home
Charlie's
Improvement.
Angels.
Oh yeah, okay.
No,
the
yeah,
voice
that
on the
too.
speaker
Yeah.
or whatever. And, yeah.
You have a voice for radio,
Well, thank you.
by the way.
Wine
will do that for you.
I'm going to say. Yeah, we had our office Christmas party last night, so I get a little inflamed in the throat when you have that much red wine.
He's got a nice deep voice, anyways. But the wine sex is on fire.
My
today.
voice is brought to you by cigars.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And another thing.
That is
So,
absolutely.
all right. So, Beth, walk us through your history. So, how long have you been an agent, right? And then, did you fumble your way through? How did you go down the path of working with investors? Because there's a lot of us that get in the industry, right? A lot of us get in to make shitload of money, to be our own boss, which we're really bad at it, and for that time freedom. And when you don't work, then you don't make a shit ton of money. So why did you get in? How long have you been in, and how did you go down working with investors?
About 12 years ago, I was giving a speech, very short version. I had cancer in my 20s, and I spoke all over the world. And a $1 billion investor in New York, where I'm from, heard me speaking, and they were like, "You're so dynamic, you need to come work for us." And so I learned new construction, but I'm talking ground up, going to town hall, getting permits, meeting with, construction crews, getting votes, politicians. So I then moved back to Maryland. My alma mater is Johns Hopkins. And my friend said, "You are sitting on a gold mine. Like, your Facebook, your connections, because of how many people I knew." He's like, you really got to get your real estate license. And he said, "I have a connection at the bank, and you should become an REO agent." I said, what's REO? And I did. And so because I knew I was going to have this steady lead flow coming in, I decided to be selfish and join a 100% boutique model, because I was like, I'll be damned if I know I'm going to have all these leads, but I didn't understand. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that I was not going to be trained on anything, and it was a school of figure it out. So I became an REO agent, and my first year I had 24 listings, and I had never seen the inside of a settlement table. Isn't that wild?
You never showed up to closing on that one.
Because we had packages.
yeah,
It's the
yeah,
bank. It's a
yeah.
financial institution.
Yeah.
But I developed these relationships with flippers. And so when the shadow inventory started to dry up, I guess around 2014, these flippers were constantly calling me. And I had such a command of the MLS and the market in Baltimore. And so again, I didn't know what door knocking was, and in Baltimore you'd be shot. Let's be real. But we don't swear. But I lived in this neighborhood, and I really knew these houses, and I could look at them and see which ones were distressed. And I had a couple of flippers that we had done tons of deals together, and I would knock on doors and just say, like, "Listen, I think you're going to need help when it's time to get out of this house. Are you upside down? I have somebody who wants to make you a cash offer." So I would knock on the door. My guys would buy it. I would have the exclusive right to list, and I would try to get all four sides and then bring the buyer. So that was like my magic solution. But again, I didn't have a real brokerage, I didn't have support, I didn't have training. So you can only go so far. And so fast forward, and I had done some traditional buying and selling, great. Fast forward, Baltimore is not really a place to build a long-term life. I'm proud of the city. I don't want to get any slack for it. But I had traveled to St. Pete, Florida, and I'm from New York. So I knew Miami. I knew St. Pete. I knew, Fort Lauderdale. St. Pete, I was like, what? The Gulf of Mexico. And so I decided to move the business in 2017, 2018. And I'm like, oh, this isn't going to be hard. I was an agent for 7 years. I got this.
Yeah.
No, I was an idiot. So I was like, I'll close my first deal in 90 days. It didn't happen. And I had to really rethink, who is my client? And I was looking at the beautiful Gulf beaches, and I'm like, okay, my client's going to be an STR. And if anyone out there doesn't know, it's short-term rentals, Airbnb, Vrbo, etc. And so I remember I took it back to basics. The best part about working with an investor is you never wait for an investor to come to you. You bring an opportunity to an investor. So you don't actually need a client. You just need to put the work in. So I started studying the MLS like a psychopath, vetting properties, figuring out, what are these returns, and AirDNA didn't exist, and I hate that site. Sorry. And,
I'm a Price Labs guy.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're a regular realtor and do you use RPR? Do you use a Zestimate? No, it's really hard to properly comp a property unless you understand the MLS and the market. There's bigger and smaller trends. So I really got a hand of the numbers, and I found some properties that I liked, and I learned a lot about zoning very quickly. And I picked up the phone and I called my guys in Maryland and in New York. And I was like, yo, I've made you money in the past. You got to trust me. And the cool thing is when you make people money, they definitely trust you. And they did, and they took the leap. And that grew. And so in 4 years, I bought and sold over 70 Airbnbs and some of the highest performing assets. And I created an entire team, like an Airbnb outfitter. I learned all the software, management companies, the right insurance broker, and so the right lender. So what's super dope is that I'm able to have my tribe touch all the clients so I can keep it moving. I'm not the realtor who wants to go to dinner, right? Like I'm the realtor the B stands for bulldog, if you didn't know, right? Like I want to keep cranking out the deals and the money. I want to be crunching numbers 24/7. I like investors because it's dollars and cents, right? No, I don't like emotions.
Move the motions,
I'm a pretty tough girl. And so obviously you guys know Airbnb. Trust me, I'm going to make the video and piss off half my clients. Airbnb is Airbnb over. Like, you can be smart about it and then think maybe nursing and different, like, student housing. There's other uses for STRs.
Sure.
But Airbnb, especially in my market, the acquisition costs are way too high. The saturation, the supply, the prices are going to go down. People are pissed about the cleaning. So I was like, I need something else. I love multifamilies, right? If you're going to invest in a single family buy and hold, that's great. But if you need a return, especially in the Tampa St. Pete market, we're the number 5 metro. Dallas is number 3.
Yeah, you're not finding 1% deals around here
you're,
right now.
You're not fine, right? And so the numbers don't make sense. So if you and I wanted to buy a single family house for $300,000 in a specific buy box neighborhood in Tampa, like where the working poor is, but maybe a step above where Section 8, Tampa Authority.
Sure.
So but that mid neighborhood of working poor, $300,000 house. As investors, I could rent that for $2,000 a month. We're not buying that. There's
not
no
enough.
Exactly. There's no cap rate. And so somebody brought a platform to me a little over a year ago called Pad Split, and it's co-living. And I absolutely believe this is the future. This is the most unbelievable product and platform I've ever looked at, I've ever sold. And it took me a while, and Nick knows this, because I went to him right away and I was like, yo, you got to take a look at this. And he was like, man, I'm not convinced. And you don't
No, that's not. No. No, I'm convinced. I was convinced on it. In fact, convinced enough that when you flew in December of last year, that I drove all the way to Fort Worth to come walk a under construction pad split. And I understood the concept. Where I was trying to poke holes in it is basically the concept and what's my return and what's the liabilities for me as a investor client.
Okay, so that was a great long version of you weren't convinced.
He just articulated all the ways he wasn't
No,
convinced.
but Nick's like, I was nicely shitting on it.
Yes. To me, it was convincing enough that I would drive out there, and so
Thank you.
And so ultimately, from that is that most of the time, if as an investor, if you're going to go put money into something, if you hear it and you're not convinced, you're just going to be like, no, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
You wouldn't drive 45 minutes to go look at the product and hear the pitch of it, right? So ultimately, I was convinced. I just needed to understand more. Of I poke holes in everything. First off,
He does.
and so from that, so ridiculous, Jesse.
Just lay down on
Yes, I'm like, thanks a lot, guys.
you. You don't have a mic either.
And I want to make sure that if I'm promoting this product, where is the blowback on me?
Agreed, right? And so I wouldn't buy a car in its first year that it came out. So Pad Split had started back in 2017 in Atlanta. And so for the first 3 months, I spent 4 hours a week on Zooms with current Pad Split hosts in Atlanta.
Wow.
And I asked them, I asked them for their time. I gave them the questions ahead of time, and it was, what were your acquisition costs? What were your conversion costs? What were your roadblocks? What were your wins? What worked? What didn't? I mean, I put so many hours. Why? Because I knew, like Pad Split, they were going to give me leads, but I knew I'm going to be pitching this to my guys, my investors. And so you bet your bottom dollar, if I don't know every single number down to a T, there's no way I'm bringing my guys to a platform without that trust. So I get it. And so I spent the first 3 months really just learning. And I knew it was going to be a learning curve. And so I called one of my investors, this Jared Sleeth. Shout out to Jared. He lives in Austin, Texas. He just launched his holster app. I love this kid.
Nice.
He bought his first flip with me in 2012. And he even sent me the email that he sent me my AOL address
Ah.
about buying a flip, and my response is hysterical. By the way, I'm gonna do a live on Instagram and read it.
man.
Yeah, because I had my license for 6 months. The bullshit that I spewed is it's amazing.
I kind of want to go back and read some of like my old 15,
And the
10 year
things you
old
said
emails.
to
Yeah.
clients. So Jared trusted me, and I love that because I went on a mission to find him a unicorn, and I did. And so right now, like, he's one of the highest paid hosts on the platform. So for me, Pad Split is a marriage of STR and LTR.
Yeah.
And so what made my STR stand out? Well, that tribe that I had assembled, right? So my outfitter, she's one of the best designer stager outfitters. So I called her and I said, let me tell you about this platform. And so I pulled together my same tribe. I had to obviously add a GC into the mix and a different property manager into the mix. But my tribe, we work so much in sync and in unison, and it makes the transaction so smooth. And so really in the last 6 months, I've done 12 of these houses. And let's talk, like, and we can get into the numbers. I'll talk about anything you want to know, but just from a realtor perspective, if you learn this platform, and right now they're in like 6 or 7 cities and expanding so fast, even if you learn this platform, you learn how to pitch, you have assistance from Pad Split. If you sold 12 of these next year, that's, in my market, that's an additional 4.5 million in volume. So if you sold 6, like, think about those numbers when regular, and I say regular realtors, they're all stressing right now. I'm like, everything, the shift. What shift? I haven't had a minute to breathe in years because I represent investors. The market, I'm designed to flourish regardless of market condition.
So talk about something, because this is one of the things I think we tend to do is just assume everybody kind of knows what it is. I mean, because I've talked about this with Nick.
give
and
us
I've
the
known
high
about-
level.
What is, I mean, like,
Yeah.
Pad Split in a nutshell?
Great. So me and you, remember I talked about that house? So we're buying a single family house in Tampa. We're not going to buy it. It's only $2,000 a month. Right. So now we take that house, which was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and there's a living room and there's a dining room, and essentially we're converting it into, let's call it a 7-3. So if I was a traditional regular person using a 20% conventional loan or a 25% DSCR, if a purchase price is $330,000, so great, my down payment's $67,000, maybe we're at $72,000 prepaid closing costs. And then the conversion, let's call the conversion $50,000, and that's all in with furniture and everything, and that would get us to that 7.3. So I'm all in for about $130,000. Okay, now let's run some numbers. So as a 7.3 Pad Split, and again, this is going to be specific to my Tampa market and what my investors are getting. We're averaging around $240 per room per week. Now, let me press pause on the numbers for 1 second and tell you about the platform. Yeah. So now we're grossing $6,800 a month.
I'm just thinking it's like $2,700 a month
Yeah, so we're
debt service.
Yeah, so we're grossing. So it ends up grossing about $6,800 a month. There's around 25% expenses, and so just like you would think about an Airbnb, Pad Split, the 25% in expenses include everything from the platform, the management, water, sewer, trash, utilities, internet, remote lock, great, everything. So then that would give us 25%. So now we're at 50/40. And then let's say the PITI on that is $2,300 because the insurance on these is a little bit higher.
Yeah.
So we're still cash flow positive after all of that. $2,700 a month on a $130,000 investment.
Jeez.
Let's go.
That's
Okay,
wow,
so now let's
cash on
talk about-
cash yearly is
Yeah, he's gonna geek out.
28% cash on cash. Did I get even
Yeah,
close
yes.
to that in my head?
And then so- yes, and so it's-
130 divided by or 28. So what'd you say the monthly?
So it's around
2,400
it's
monthly.
around a 24% cash on cash return if you're using that loan strategy. If you're all cash, you're about all in for 400,000.
Yep.
You're around a 15% cash on cash return.
I'm just doing the
Wild, right? So he's going to geek out on this, but I want to talk about the platform for a second.
Why is about 24%?
What's
Wow.
up, Mike?
Yeah, Mortgage
So-
Mike coming in hot.
But here's the deal. The platform, unlike Airbnb, this platform is for the working poor. We are in a housing crisis. No one's going to deny this. We don't have enough housing between iBuyers. You guys saw JP Morgan just launched $1 billion to build new house rental communities. So I want to talk about the working poor for 1 second, because these people make too much money to be on Section 8.
Yes.
Right? But they don't make enough money. Like, they don't make enough money for life. So for me and you to move into that rental house in Tampa, we need $6,000 first, last security. Well, they don't have that, and these people are like a step almost away from being homeless. And so Pad Split vets the members. So a tenant is called a member. So they get to pay by the week. They stay by the month. Why is that important? Because anything over 30 days is a long-term lease.
Yes.
The average member stays in their Pad Split room for 9 months.
on
Wild.
weekly leases, basically.
Well, nope, the leases are monthly.
I'm
monthly.
sorry, the lease
Hey.
monthly pays weekly. Yeah,
Correct.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
And PadSplit reports to FICO on the member's behalf every week. PadSplit offers them free teledoc, that's telemedicine. Show me a landlord that's giving a tenant free
Wow,
teledoc.
really?
This is a platform with purpose. I guarantee this thing is going to go IPO.
And by the way, just to clarify, are there any other benefits of doing monthly leases other than hot tax?
I mean,
Because I assume that's one of the main reasons
the
is
main
because
reason is getting around the STR.
the hot tax,
yeah,
hotel
so-
occupancy tax, yeah.
Well,
Right.
but also,
And I guess
Well,
there are other STR regulations, all the
Correct.
STR
Yeah, it's-
regulations.
right.
Yeah, it's
The
more the
municipality.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more the regulations, not
That
the
makes sense.
STR side. It's
Yeah.
more
Local regulations,
So-
just everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I wanted to poke holes in it, right? So again, I was convinced, like what she's
I want to
saying.
interrupt. Can I say this for 1 second? This is on my mind. Nick has always positioned himself as the most responsible and respectful member of this organization out of the four of us, or at least more than Matt and I. And he has, in short order, made that sexual reference twice now. He talked about a circle jerk one time, and he used the really mean word for small people, like on the show once. This dude is a loose cannon. He can't be trusted, and we're the ones that get.
Poking holes is a.
That's why Jesse stopped down the show, the whole show before. He did say the M word though on the show once that I
M word.
vividly remember, and we get crap for being unprofessional.
He has lawsuit anxiety.
Yeah. I mean, think of it this way, but from the short term, I was less concerned about the STR, the hot tax on it. It was more concerning about when you own rentals in certain cities, that every turnover, the city comes in and analyzes it. And so what I wanted to look at is like, okay, if I'm selling a potential pad split to an investor client of mine, and then all of a sudden the city comes in and stomps it down, I mean, you know, if that investor client comes back to me and I'm like, sorry, that's on you. Should have done your due diligence.
Yeah.
Like, I just looked at it from the blowback. Now, understanding it more, I'm like, all right, there is a crisis of renters that can't afford to go rent their own house.
Oh my
right?
gosh, yes.
And ultimately, this does serve a large population of the market that is either couch surfing, they're staying with family. You know, they may be in an extended stay hotel.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard of people staying in these. I'm like, if you go look at the cost of that, this is actually a much better deal.
Yeah. And by the way, if this sounds really like strange to you, like
It's because let's be honest, it's because it is.
it's because it is, and like understand, like if it just sounds strange to you to see like there's a certain demographic or you know, whatever that is having trouble affording housing that still makes money. Like there's a book called Arrival City that you guys should check out. It's all about how basically new, like, it's really good, but this is actually rampant in Europe and Asia. Like this,
I thought you
the
were gonna say,
same.
some of this is somewhat cultural.
The same socioeconomic
customs.
setup is absolutely true. I
Sharing
would say
homes is-
more so in Asia and the Middle East. We're just starting to see it here in America, but this is like globally, this is actually pretty common.
This shared home thing is actually not that uncommon, and while it's not the pad split thing, I have clients, really young clients from another country who bought 2 places in Plano, Texas here, and that's exactly what they do. They rent out essentially by the room. Now they're not doing what pad split's doing as far as maximizing occupancy for each room, but that's essentially what they're doing to a demographic and culture of people who are okay with that. I think that's the biggest thing about this. This is more just as Americans, we just go off on my little tangent for a second. This is more of a
No, I
this is
agree.
more of
These
a
are my favorite
glutton,
parts.
this is more of a
Multi-generational
gluttonous
living. This is-
consumption type of thing, right? Like, why in the fuck do we need a 1,500 square foot 1-bedroom 1-bathroom apartment for ourselves, right? Or whatever. Like
2 people.
Like that's what I'm saying is we fall into this trap of like feeling like we need the extravagant thing as a like, which is not really what, like, I currently have 6 people living in less than 2,500 square feet, right? Like I don't really care. I don't notice it. But a lot of people look at that and be like, that's way too many people there. You guys should get a bigger house. Somebody needs
Let's
more rooms,
prove this.
whatever.
Jesse, can you pull in the background? Average apartment size in Manhattan.
And I think, well,
Thank you.
a bit of an outlier when it comes to that, because I don't think most people are even considering that. But I do
No,
think
I'm just proving your concept that like in forced situations,
People
like
are fine with
people
this
are fine.
idea.
Yeah,
We do it all the time,
Yeah.
but yet we somehow all of a sudden will take this thing and think of this idea of taking this house and turning it into maximum occupancy for people to be able to afford housing. When typically, like I'm fortunate enough to be on Christina Smallhorn's podcast once a month, and this is one thing she talks about is affordable housing. It doesn't exist for anybody anymore, and this is a solution for that.
Yeah, and I'm excited to be working towards that, like leaving a legacy that I was part of solving this housing crisis for the working poor. I think it's a tremendous thing. I really do.
Well, and I believe, like, look, I think it creates an opportunity that right now, I mean, you mentioned J.P. Morgan wanting to get in and own $1 billion in single-family rentals, and so it allows for the investor, the mom and pop investors, the new investors, to come in and have an opportunity before the hedge funds are there, right? So if
and generate, like, let's just lay a baseline here for this conversation. I don't mean to interrupt. Like, actually generate the ability to build real wealth. You're not really building wealth with single family investing. I mean, not like seriously. Like,
I didn't say anything. I'm just
the returns are not good enough. They just aren't.
what?
Like, your cash flow is not there. Your hold period is incredibly long. You're just not. You're going to make money.
Yes.
You do not build generational wealth through single family investing unless it is at massive scale,
Unless you own over 100.
like Nick Good does. Yes.
It does.
You're not doing it after 2 or 3 doors.
No, it does. Yes, but I will tell you right now to try to buy a single family rental that you're not competing against a hedge fund that can have marginal minimums there.
Yes.
So
Because they're doing it at
yes,
scale.
they're doing it at the scale side where you go in and you're buying your first one and you're like, it's only making me $50 net a month.
Yeah.
Then you're looking at it's not worth it.
What's the
Yeah.
legitimate pain in the ass part of this, though? Like, let's
So
listen,
there's
what's the
a
pain in the
few.
ass part
There's
of it?
challenges because all the markets are different.
Sure.
So like I didn't learn this about Texas until we had talked. I didn't know that you guys have these laws where in between turnovers the city comes. That's wild.
It's certain cities.
There's like North Richland Hills does it. We
Mesquite,
talked about Mesquite.
Where I
does
live's
it.
trying to vote
Plano's
it
trying to
in.
do it.
Yeah,
Plano's
that's
trying to vote it in.
wild. So every city has different challenges, different metrics, and different needs. So it's so important that you're so hyper dialed in to your stats. But for me, I mean, listen, like single family buy and holds, you need to. For sustainable wealth, like we can all agree, you need to have that equity and leverage. But now we're going to appreciate at a standstill for the next 3 to 5 years. So now we need to cash flow for a minute. And you're not cash flowing on Airbnbs anymore. I mean, listen.
It's getting harder.
Correct. And so there's still amazing properties, don't get me wrong. But I haven't seen cash flow like this when you're doing something that you feel so good about.
Yeah, you're solving a real need, right?
Absolutely. So the downside is if I didn't have my GC partner and I'd be lost. Like he is my major component. So like realtors, you have your lender partners. You guys have Mike, right? Like, so I have my lending partners and Pat Split does train GCs. But again, you guys know contractors are tough.
Well, and it's a different concept. So
Which we haven't explained yet, right? We're not really haven't explained really
Okay,
what's
so-
happening to the house
Yeah,
yet and why
yeah.
the GC matters.
Well, so it goes like this, and Beth, you can jump in and interrupt me. But it basically, you mentioned, let's say it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. So we'll call it a 1,700 square foot house, right? And it's got it's got a living area, it's got a breakfast area, and it's got maybe a second living area, right? So or a dining room. And so ultimately what you're doing is you're going and analyzing the house and saying, all right, you're going to convert the garage. And this is something I learned from Beth when I walked that property in Fort Worth, is that in a garage, you're going to be able to typically get 2 bedrooms out of a garage, right? So if you have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, that you're converting the garage into 2 bedrooms. So now you're 4-2 or a 5-2, right? And then you go convert the living area into a bedroom. And sometimes certain sizes, Beth, you correct me if I'm wrong, you could probably convert certain living rooms into maybe 2 bedrooms.
Yes. I mean, listen, everything has to be the 10 by 7 at
Sure.
the minimum. You have to have a means of egress, a duct. And so we can make you're getting, as an agent, you're getting to look at single family inventory that we wouldn't touch that house because it was a terrible cap rate.
Yep.
But if you played Tetris as a kid, you're walking into these houses. It's the vetting part is hard because you cannot do it on the MLS. You physically have to get into the house. So for me, it's just, as a realtor, this is so exciting. because now I have all this inventory to shop. But so like we generally don't have like garages, and if you do the garage conversion in Texas, you got to pull some permits, and so for me, we're adding walls, ducts, maybe moving some windows around, adding doors. So it's relatively easy. And so if you're a flipper, if you guys have a group of flippers where you guys have your GC, you're in.
Yeah.
To start doing this,
100%.
right? So that's that would be the only pain, is that if I were to lose my GC, I would die.
Yeah,
He's-
just because you have to have somebody come in. It sounds very similar to how the cleaning person is the eyes on the ground for your Airbnb.
Correct.
Right? Like, and the lender's the eyes on the ground for your buyer clients. Like, your GC is your right-hand person in this particular business model.
Who's
all day long.
that? Who would that next person be? So you've got the GC,
Lender.
the lender.
Yeah. And so you have to. So obviously, I represent investors. So my lenders are so creative, and they have the most insane products. And it's like, if you were using hard money for this, I'd be searching for a different acquisition on the front end, because I don't believe hard money is the best strategy for pad splits. So then I'm looking for one that definitely needs more work, that's more like a flip, so we can pull that money out.
Right.
Because listen, if you take a house that's pretty well done and we just add rooms and add a bathroom, no appraiser, just because you're adding bedrooms, you're not adding value. Maybe
You
you'll
might
get 10
actually be working
Some-
against yourself,
Correct.
just depending on the appraiser.
Right. And so like adding a bathroom, we all know that'll get, but you're not going to pull that money out. So hard money for me, I have to look for a different product, like different house for the
Right.
investor. But this is such an easy thing for regular people
can
to
I
do.
ask you a
So
question?
this is not a burst strategy play, because you're probably
No.
not pulling that equity.
No, you're holding this.
Because there's no doubt that I've like, because you talk about like, not wanting to deal with the emotional side of real estate. That's actually a part of real estate I love, and that's why I'm so different than these guys, right? Like, I want the family moving in. I want them to fall in love with the backyard. I want them to picture their kids in the bedroom. Like, I actually love that part of the connection, right? So my mind immediately goes to, this house is fucked. Like, what are you doing with this house when you don't want it anymore?
Perfect. So obviously, because we got FAQs, right?
Of
So that's
course.
one of the top
It
ones.
has to be.
So
would
the cool
imagine.
thing is that, number one, there's two ways to look at it. The first way is, number one, taking these walls down. You could deconvert it. And,
Sure.
Like, right.
Relatively
As long
easily.
as you didn't put that third bathroom, so now it's like functional obsolescence where it's in a weird spot.
Sure.
Okay. But beyond that, think about when somebody comes to you to buy a multifamily and they say to you, what's the resale value going to be on this? And what do I say to them? There's always an investor
Yeah.
looking to get in the game.
Yeah.
Clearly. And so when we used to buy Airbnbs 5 years ago, you weren't buying them the way they are now, fully furnished with bookings. You're buying a business.
I know how much of a beating that was for you to furnish that one up there.
Yeah.
The first one that I did was a nightmare. I
For
didn't
me,
have the systems.
yeah. For me, right. Same. So for me, I believe that these are going to sell to investors who don't have the money to convert that liquid, and they just want to get in. And Pad Split does have a marketplace where they will send
To move
out.
these along.
Yes.
Okay.
I guess that's a really good. That is a really good answer, because it's like, you don't ask that question on an apartment complex. You're like, you're buying an apartment complex. When you go to sell it, you're not like, change it back into a single family house.
Correct, but
you know,
yeah,
like you're
but
buying an asset.
Yeah, but that's a different. I mean, look,
It is,
Look,
it
that's
is.
a different asset class, and so that was the one. That was a question that, if you remember, I asked that to you in December. I said, "Look, it sounds good, but," and then I rattled off, like, if I want to go and resell it, how does it increase my net worth, and how does it increase the value that if I want to resell and cash out? Two. The other question that I had on this, and I'm convinced on this product, right? So I've been on the calls, I've been on the webinar. There's a reason why Beth is on the show.
You can ask the same thing about boutique assisted living, by the way.
Absolutely. So,
What do you do when you go to
Exactly.
sell it? Well, it's not really a house anymore.
And
And we just, not we, but my
Yeah.
family just sold one.
I didn't do that when I build the other ones and sell that as a
Yeah.
whole. But
Do you know the guy that bought it used to be the backup goalie for the New York Rangers?
did he really?
It's not why we chose him, because we had multiple offers, but it was pretty cool.
But it really helped.
I don't think you're allowed to say like stuff like that on the air. I don't want to say who it was, but it was pretty cool.
Well, tell us. You didn't sign an NDA.
You can Wikipedia all the backup goalies for the New
Just
York
guess.
Rangers.
If
at the time.
what year did he play?
90s, early 2000s.
If you know the
If his
backup
first name, what is
goalie-
his first name?
Dan.
Like, Nick
So-
knows who this is.
We
You can't even get Nick to name like the most obvious of songs. He's like, "Who's Michael Jackson?" He's
We
like,
asked Nick to name a band.
What year was the backup goalie of the Rangers?
I drove Beth over here. Did we have the music on at all? No, I don't listen to music. I'm on the phone the whole time.
No, I know.
I do
I
believe
watch
that.
this show.
He said
Yeah,
he's,
I
he
know
said
how
he's
it
tired
goes.
of podcasts now too. I can't imagine when Nick doesn't have a phone call. He just sits in silence. His life is like Castaway.
Usually
It's
you know,
just-
because I'm like calling and I'll call again. If I've called like within 30 minutes, I'm like, just answer the phone.
Yeah, it's like so
I got to get
bored.
my calls out of the way.
Or you're thinking, or I'm crunching numbers. Usually I'm on my
Not,
calculator.
not while driving. You can't do that.
No, but
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I
that's real
found a pad split, man, and I like loving it. So the whole way home, I kept pushing my Google Assist, and I was like, "What's 20% with this? What's it?" And I'm crunching the numbers the whole drive home, and yeah, it is under contract.
Think of
Nice.
this, like, so you asked the nuances or the downs, like, and,
Yeah.
and Beth is going into like, oh, her GC and everything, and I'm thinking as the investor side, I'm like, you know, it's hard until we accept this, and you're Matt, you're 100% right. In other countries, this is more acceptable. Is that I said, one, what type of clientele does this bring in? Two, you've got randoms all living in one house, and so where was
That's where I
my
was going with
problem,
my second
my
one.
management problem, from I now have this 8-bedroom house with 8 different types of personalities that aren't family. What are we seeing? And so that was the question I've asked, and you know,
answered
there's
it.
been very, very minimal problems. I mean, there's always
and
problems.
Pad Split. So Pad Split does on the app. They do the rentals, the money. If somebody eats your food out of the refrigerator, you get to see who your Pad Split mate is. You get to rate them, review them like Airbnb. There's very strict rules: no children, no pets,
I believe
quiet
they
time,
had to be
11
something like
p.m.
that.
This is for people who really need a hand up in life. And reading the stories and how much money the average member is saving. So there's some savvy people. First of all, you could house hack this too. Like I could really geek out on this. But this is why I think, or one of the reasons I believe this has grown on you, is because you've now watched me do this over the last
sure.
year. And now I am cranking them out. And now I am like, anyone who is sitting on, you know, who can qualify for a loan up to $350,000 in my market, who has, you know, $130,000 total liquid, you need to be on the phone with me. You need to buy one of these, because if you're netting after everything 24 grand and you own 3 of these, that's a pretty decent salary that will help the regular average Joe be able to leave a job.
Well, yeah. So I'm sold on it because of proof of concept. And
Thank
two, the second thing is that, and you did tell me this, so look, I'll give you all the credit on this one. Like, is that you have a 7-8 bedroom house and you have 1 or 2 people move out, you still have money coming in.
Nick has this weird way of giving people credit and still seeming skeptical. I don't know how he does that with his personality. Something in his tonality.
But you have one, if you rent out a house to one family and they skip out in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
All the money's gone.
All the money's
100%.
gone. Then
Yep.
you've got make readies. Then you've got to go rent it back up. And so here,
Yeah, you get the benefits of multifamily with the diversification across multiple doors.
yes.
I've always been a fan of Section 8 back from Baltimore, and
Sorry.
see, I believe there's a lot of miseducation surrounding it.
Come manage my
And if
Section
you're
8.
a realtor out there, just know that it's a fair housing violation to deny someone. A lot of realtors need to educate themselves. But why I was always a fan of Section 8, and I would say this to my landlords and investors, and this was pre-COVID, which was cool. And I said, because it got even better, but I said, listen, you're getting this money guaranteed from the government, deposited the first of the month. I said, and so, you know, this is fantastic. COVID hit, they kept getting paid. And now that we're seeing inflation, and now people's credit card usage is up like 15 to 30%, even though as a traditional landlord, you'll make a couple $100 more a month not doing Section 8, now I guarantee, and you guys know this, in the next 1 to 2 years, evictions, we know, and I'm talking just like tenant evictions, and this is a pain in the ass when you're a landlord. It costs you time, money, energy. They destroy your property. And it's like taxes are going up, insurance is going up. We have enough to deal with, and this is just a phenomenal solution. So we do add an extra layer of property management in there as well, because my investors are all very hands-off. Most of them are doctors. They have big jobs. They live in totally different states or countries. They're very hands-off, and this is very easy to acquire one of these. You definitely need the right realtor partner. I believe that the neighborhood you're searching in is very important, because I am looking at this from I'm still into that long-term appreciation. Like that,
sure.
obviously that gets me excited. And so for me, I'm still looking at the neighborhoods that I know are trending, that haven't yet peaked. And so even though Pad Split in my market is in 7 zip codes, I'm only searching 2, and one of them is my sweet spot.
Yeah.
And so our acquisition costs are a little bit higher, but it's worth it. And you all know this. You've seen an Airbnb. Like, I don't discount. If you discount, you bring in trash, and that's when your properties get destroyed. So we make our houses look fabulous, and we're charging an insane amount of money not. I mean, listen,
Relatively
$240
speaking,
a week. Your utilities are included.
Yep.
That's a great life.
That's really good.
And I'm searching for parking. Like there's a specific buy box, and so it does change via state. I don't like anything over an 8. 8 bedrooms is a lot in Tampa. We're very profitable at a 6. 7 is phenomenal. 8 is the unicorn. I don't. There's some hosts on the platform in Atlanta where they believe in just shoving all these rooms. I don't want to take away from the integrity of a home, and I believe we're profitable at 6. Like, let's not be greedy. Let's buy a few of these instead of trying to jam rooms and put
It'd
in
be cool
shitty
though
furniture.
to go ultra big though. Like, what if you got Tom
There's a
Brady's mansion in
13-4.
Tampa that he's gonna have to liquidate because of this FTX disaster? Oh my God. You could turn into like a 500.
What if we
bedroom,
just go buy a
sick-ass
motel
parking.
and turn it in? We just go get a
People have
motel
asked.
room.
Yeah.
And
People have asked.
remember that motel that we saw on the way to Waco?
Yes.
Yes.
I do remember.
So
The Flamingo.
is that what it
the
is?
kitchen.
I just made it up. It seems like it should be though.
The issue is kitchens, means of
Yeah.
egress, anything that's stacked up. It would have to be like a 1 level. Like so we did. There was a church conversion to like a 13-4, but it had a parking lot.
Yeah.
So
So
through
speaking of
this-
egress, do you see this happening on 2 stories a lot?
so
like two-story
okay,
homes.
So remember, in Florida, we rarely have that 2 stories.
Oh, you guys
but-
don't really have many 2 stories?
They're
here?
almost all one
No,
stories,
we
yeah.
barely have like garages either.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And we live on such
It's kind of
small
like
square
Vegas,
footage.
dude. There's like
Florida's
barely any
wild.
Vegas
stores.
pad
Weird.
split market is about to blow out.
I would, but that's
Yeah.
another
The
one
The
story
cities are
market.
so excited. So the cities are Atlanta, Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, Houston, Dallas, Richmond, Vegas, and they're about to launch Miami, Phoenix.
It's
Salt
so
Lake
funny
City.
because if
We
you
should
are
check out
if you're a
Bad Split for our next Hackers Cup in
if
Vegas.
you're a referral agent though, this is actually because everything. If you're a referral type of agent and you see where referrals are moving around the country, literally every city she just listed is where everybody is going. Atlanta, Vegas, Richmond, Charlotte, Nashville, Phoenix, Dallas, Houston. If you're in all of those referral groups, those are all the groups getting shouted out all the time. If I've got somebody heading there.
And what's
right?
so fun is that if I have an investor who maybe can't afford my market, well, they can certainly afford Jacksonville, right? So, and here's the thing, like, I love Dallas. I love the DFW market. I come here all the time. I want to buy an income property here for sure because I'm still looking. I love Phoenix. I love Denver.
Phoenix, really everywhere. I mean, you could just take the top 50 cities that have appreciated at a ridiculous clip over the last 2 or 3 years, and there's a lot of them right in there.
You know what'd be interesting in the Denver market is there's a lot of investors that got hit that bought Airbnb properties and then all of a sudden it got outlawed. Right, so I do wonder if that you start bringing those investors back in, because this does get around the STR rule.
Right. So I'm on the retail side, obviously, because my mission is to sell real estate. I'm a realtor.
Yeah.
So Pad Split, obviously, they have account executives who deal with people who have existing homes that can convert. So that's amazing. And then they have like their wholesale division for their portfolio buyers who are looking to buy 10, 20, 50 at a time and convert them. So there's 3 different sides to the platform. And there's not a lot of people doing this, and it's so wild. So if somebody can't afford it in my market, I'm going to refer them to another. And the Pad Split realtor partners, we kind of just share the love, and it's wild because no one just buys one door.
No, it's the same thing they say about real estate investing in general. Like, you just got to do your first deal and you'll do more. Like, the hardest part is getting your head around a concept, putting up the money, and getting into action and seeing it work. You get addicted to making those types of decisions when you see them actually flourishing, right? How would you, if you owned a current home, how would you be able to analyze this as a good market? Is this like, what do you look for?
So the cities are established and they have specific criteria for where they'll come, and they're looking for a specific amount of pods and regulations and the rental. So they look at all that stuff. So that's and they have their rollout of cities listed. But then if you guys were in a city and you went to Pad Split and said, listen, I'm an investor, I have 50 doors, and can you send someone out? Let's see how many of these we could convert. Your city's likely going to get opened.
Well, yeah, because you've got the assets.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
My average time, by the way, of an investor coming back for their second one, so from the time we go under contract, we close, the conversion is anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks, depending on how labor intensive. So from the time I want to talk occupancy.
Yeah,
Brace
please,
yourself.
please.
That was next. I want to
Okay.
ask you about stabilization
So
rate.
Pad Split occupancy across the platform is 95%. Tampa's 99%. My investors, we've had only one room turn. It was filled the next day. So it's wild to
Whoa.
sit at 100%
But
occupancy.
hold on.
Nobody sits at 100% occupancy.
No, but share this of how
How many days-
days
yeah.
it takes to get to a stabilized property.
So from the time you put it on the platform, it takes anywhere from 1 to 21 days to have 100% occupancy. And so one of my investors calls me from Atlanta because he has a second one with me in Tampa, and he goes, "Oh my God, all 9 rooms in Atlanta, they got rented in 9 hours." I go, "You're an idiot." And he was like, "Why?" I was like, "Because you underpriced."
Yeah,
So
it
we're
shouldn't have went that
priced-
fast.
Yeah. And so the move-in fee for a member is 100 or less.
Sure.
And so, so they stay occupied, which is wild.
And just for comparison, you know the answer, and so I know the answer as well. How would that compare to, say, getting an STR occupancy on a monthly basis up anywhere near that? That would takes much longer.
And I work in a very popular STR market.
Sure.
St. Pete's voted the #1 beach in the country 5 years in a row. I cover all the Gulf beaches from Siesta Key all the way up. And so we think our numbers are great when we're sitting at 82 to 88. And that's fire numbers.
If I get 70 on mine,
Great.
I'm feeling like that's a good month.
I run my numbers on 66. I'm super conservative when I
Yeah.
run numbers because I'm definitely over delivering to my
Yeah.
clients every single time. I looked back this recently to see kind of how much money I have made these people, and like even just last year alone, like my guys have made millions, and it's wild.
I hope people hear the consistency in what you just said versus what Armando Montalongo said 2 or 3 weeks ago in exactly how they're evaluating these properties, right? They are running these on insanely conservative numbers and then overperforming on the right properties. Because Armando's pretty much said the same thing. You're over by 60. He was talking about 60 cents on the dollar, but you're talking about 66. But you know what I mean? Like you're essentially looking at these in a very conservative manner and still finding tons of opportunities. So I hope agents are just like, this is where the agents got to break their minds open.
When that
'cause
66%,
so much
Matt,
stuff.
just to clarify, is on occupancy.
Sure.
Yeah,
Right,
but
so,
also
yeah.
I'm running these numbers on 7.5% interest rates.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
You're
that's
running them
what
on
I'm saying,
super
like-
conservative,
Yes.
high numbers. Like if Armando Montalongo gets a property at 60 cents on the dollar, he's going to do a backflip. If you get this property based off 66% occupancy at a 7.5% interest rate, knowing that you're going to blow that out of the water and make all these people all this
Generally
money, right?
good investing advice, by the way. Anyway, if you're new to investing or whatever, like, allow yourself to be conservative and make your first deals your best deals, or at least good deals. Nick has always been like this. Nick and I have been negotiating a deal for a month now, and he keeps trying to blow up the pro forma with his hyper conservative thinking, and that's why he's an amazing investor.
But it's working right
It's
now.
super
though,
working
like-
right
It
now.
is
No,
working.
it totally
It's working.
is.
But that's the thing that I want. Like we have a lot of agents who hear this who think that the market, even at maxed out 100%, their buyers doing all they can, all these people doing all they can, like it's just still not a good market for them to interact with or engage with. And that's what I'm saying is there are people out there who are going way conservative, way more aggressive than any normal real estate agent would think you could attack this market. That are having tons of success, while other agents sitting on the sideline and being like, "Oh, it's too hard," or "Buyers shouldn't buy," or whatever. And it's like I just hope people hear how much of bullshit that is.
There's so much
because there's still so much opportunity.
every day. And this is the best part, just like I said in the beginning. Bring the opportunity to the investor. All you need to become a master of the MLS. You need to become a master at analyzing a deal and then pitching it. And so what my investors know, first of all, I'm really hardcore with these guys. And they know that I'm not showing them what I'm looking at. I'm only bringing them a winner. So when I'm calling them, it's the first person who answers the phone call and signs the offer.
Yeah.
Period.
That's what happens after you get a track record, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I hope agents hear. Like when you go out and kick ass for your investors or your clients in any scenario, then you get to flip the entire thing on its head. And now it's whoever answers my phone call is the one who gets this deal.
First.
Whereas most agents are out there being like, who can I call to like try and get this deal to? You can turn this thing into a deal where you are now the one who has the gold, and the other people got to come eat out of your hands, right?
I already know this, and so I want you to. I'm leading you to this because you're not out there going direct to consumer. So meaning you're not going direct to seller. You're not out there knocking on doors,
Correct.
cold calling, generating seller leads, right? So tell us how you're finding these properties.
Yeah, so I want you. So
Yes.
I believe that I love a hybrid model of real estate. I love watching dialers. I know you guys kill it, crush it. I've never bought a lead. I don't dial. I haven't had to, but I will say this. Look, I'm a social media realtor and everything's organic. Let me tell you something. Somebody said this to me the other day and it rocked my world.
Yeah.
He goes, yo, what's the ROI on the time you spent building that organically?
Do you want the Gary V answer? I hate him, but he gave a great answer to this question one time.
Yes, we do.
What's the ROI on your mother?
He did say that to somebody.
It's like, I can't tell you exactly what my mother did right to raise me right, but I can tell you I turned out okay.
Yeah, I mean, but it shook me because I was like, man, I've given so much time. Like when you're calling leads, you can measure.
Yeah.
And so for me, where am I finding these investors? Was that the original question?
No. Where are you finding the properties?
Oh, okay. Obviously on MLS, because I don't love working with off-market properties because I don't really want to spend the extra time and energy negotiating. I know where you're leading.
No.
me.
I'm not leading you to
What's
this.
wrong with
No,
that?
here's the reason why I bring it up. Right. So you're not. If you're a newer agent or you're an agent that has, that doesn't have their lead generation down to figure out how to get in front of sellers.
Because the mental hurdle is just like, how do I start?
Yes, right. So how do you start? Great question, Brian. And what Beth has shown is that just go analyze deals on the MLS. You go pick certain cities that would be friendly to this, and or the buy box criteria. You don't want a super old home because that's going to be a lot of maintenance and a lot of work to get it into shape. You can't have it in a homeowners association, right? You typically, because if you have a 6-7 bedroom home. What does that mean? That means there's more cars out front.
Correct.
So
That's super true. And by the way,
no
if this
swimming pools, no HOAs,
Yeah.
no CDDs. The buy boxes are so. If a realtor wants to learn this, they can go on the website or they can literally reach out to me because I can teach this to anyone. But you can't just look at the properties on the MLS. You have criteria, but you physically must vet the properties. And the deal with my GC is that during the inspection period, he must be there to confirm what I believe is true. I'm getting so good at it.
Yeah, 100%.
So you find them on the MLS, then you go walk the property. So you can do this on your own before you have anything. Then you get the practice down, and then ultimately start running and analyzing your numbers. Get with Beth and compare it to what the average would be, and so that way, is that a QAnon member? It looks like interesting.
First one in a while.
Yeah, first one who commented. They're back, I guess. And just vet it and then start building. Too many times what ends up happening is you have these agents who just throw up all over an investor. Like, I got this. I've got a way to make you so much money. I don't know really how it works, but all you do is go turn a regular house into a 30-bedroom home. We're going to rent it out by the week. It's going to be real low income, so it doesn't matter. You're going to make 3, 4, 5 terms. Brian Force on the Only Real Estate Podcast said it's like 24% cash on cash return. So that's all you really need to know, right? Then they go do that, and these investors are like, what are you fucking talking about?
Yeah. It's super true.
Right? And so they have no idea. And what Beth has done is she's mastered the entire deal, the entire process, and gotten really, really good at it. And you even said before the show started, when we were waiting on Kelderman to come in hot, was that agents go, they go too wide, and they need to master one niche at a time. And this could be a really good niche to master if you're wanting to go down that investor path.
What do we know about the niches?
There's riches in this.
So-
But it's the truth. Like a specialist makes special money.
Back
and
when
I
you-
make special money.
There you go. Right back when you could actually find rentals on the MLS. Which, by the way, if this all seems crazy to you, like you just could find good investment opportunities on the MLS. We used to live in a world where that actually was possible. Like it was actually pretty commonplace. Even if you're here in North Texas, it was very commonplace. My first year in real estate, I was very fortunate to do 31 deals or something like that, and the bulk of them were to an investment group. I was based out of Scottsdale, Arizona, and I got introduced to them through a title rep. They had 2 rentals in mind that they just wanted me to just like, look, write the offer. We'll pay you a commission. They already had their own inspectors. So like literally I just wrote the paper. I never saw the houses and then just ran with it. And so I called the broker that they were working with in Phoenix, and I was like, what are they looking for? Let's just go find more of these. He just sent me their underwriting spreadsheet, and I would just sit on the MLS all day. And if it turned green, I would call them and we'd make an offer. And if it didn't, I would figure out what we needed to offer at to make it turn green. Like, basically, this was possible with single-family rentals a long time. Like, what I'm saying is that, like, I just took the initiative to go, well, if these guys are going to do deals, why would I just do these 2 deals with them? Why don't I just learn what it is they're looking for and go find it? And literally, my first year, I did some regular deals, but the bulk of my time, my first year in real estate, was me sitting on my couch in my tiny little apartment right down the street right there where the janitor robbed me with no money, But that's how I made money. I sat on the couch all day. I became obsessive about making these numbers work and what you would have to do. And I found they're mostly in Blue Ridge, Mesquite, all that type of area. But that's how I was able to do that many deals. It's the exact same thing.
I want a realtor who's out there thinking like, I can't do this, to know you absolutely can. I don't want them to be afraid when an investor says, well, what's a pro forma, right? Because first of all, they're bullshit in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You can inflate any number. And so I want a realtor to know that if you just what you said, go out, start searching for these properties, you'll connect with the pad split account exec, they can help you. Once you get the hang of it and pitching the numbers, this becomes an extremely profitable thing to do.
And like Nick said this years ago, not even to me, but just on a panel he was speaking on. It was when I first got into real estate. Like, just find the opportunity and the money shows up. If you're in this, like, this still, I get it. I get the mental headspace where you're like, either I don't have money or I don't know people who have money. Go find opportunity. I promise you the money will show up in your world.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll break down the deals on Facebook because in my world, like a lot of people on Facebook, they're like people I know from high school. And so they have money sitting in the bank, which is losing money.
This is going to sound super elitist to say, and I don't mean it to sound like this at all. One of the most difficult things about having money is figuring out what to do with it.
Sounds
because
so elitist of you, Brian.
I'm just telling,
Jeez.
and I'm not even saying that's me. I'm just saying I know that to be true.
Look at the silver spoon just growing out of his mouth.
Placing capital is actually incredibly difficult.
A
It
lot
just
of my
is.
Not with
clients
Stay
are
Hard
doctors,
Capital.
and
Not
so
with
they
Stay
know a
Hard.
lot about medicine, and they don't know a lot about a lot of other things. And so, again, once you get in with one of them, I break down the deals all the time. And so then people are like, oh, I can make this much money with giving this much money. I'm in.
Look, and we've said it so many times on the show. I had lunch with my old broker today about real estate agents, the new ones. We just don't know how to provide value.
Yes.
And so I would go out on a very, very far limb to say that your investors that you have made millions of dollars to, they find you a very valuable resource to have in their pocket. And saying, all right, Beth is bringing us these deals. Ultimately, to the point where you and I have had different conversations to further them and to further you, right? So it allows, what does it do? It opens up doors of opportunities that say, all right, you sell one, you sell two, you've sold, how many pad splits have you sold?
This in the last 6 months, we're on my 12th one.
12 in 6 months, right? That's going to create
I'll double that this
create
year.
different opportunities, and more than likely, some of your investors are probably going to be like, I don't want to tell anybody about this, but the others are going to introduce you to more money,
Yes.
and go build this bigger and bigger to where eventually you have your own Beth Silverman fund, who's only going out and buying pad splits.
Gotta think of a different name.
And
BS fun.
Jeez, the BS
No, it's not
fund.
that you
That's
don't
my
have a nice
initials,
name. It's
BS.
just when you get to scale, the name doesn't work anymore. They don't call it Jamie Dimon Bank. It's J.P. Morgan.
I
guess
just
that's also
want
a
the
guy's name.
realtors. I just want, there's so many realtors watching this, and I'm watching them struggle, and they're scared because either maybe again, if you know what to say and how to talk to your buyers and sellers, everyone is still transacting, you guys. Like, real estate, nothing's shifted. This is normal life.
Yes.
But if you feel like you're losing business and you need to create opportunity, jump on this. It is so much fun to help people build passive income. Regular people make passive income so they're not slaves to a 9 to 5.
I agree.
And I think there's a little bit of, like, if you have those, like, let's just call them limiting beliefs around this. Like, I do want to articulate just to the normal real estate agent out there that the last few years it's been a lot easier to make money in this business, right? And now we're actually having to work at it a little bit harder or become more skilled. Like, if you're not lead generating all day or running appointments or whatever, I want the normals agents to just hear this. Like, your job is to become smarter also, by the way. If you're just fundamentally better at what you do and identifying opportunity, articulating that opportunity, and helping people that need opportunity find it, you're going to succeed. But a lot of times, like, we only focus on, like, either just the lead gen aspect or just the going to classes and happy hours and seminar aspect, or we just take our off hours when we're not doing that and do nothing. Like, the best agents out there, they work really, really hard at getting really good at what they do. And this is just a component of that.
But we also have a responsibility as realtors. One of the biggest things that we're taught in this industry is that we need to have income properties. Like, let's talk about us buying, and
Yes.
obviously you guys are just incredible.
You know what's amazing is, like, most real estate investors that don't work in real estate, they've actually had to seek out opportunity in an industry that they're not already a part of. If you are in real estate and you don't have a massive focus on acquiring real estate, what are we doing here? Like, you're right there next to the source. It's like you live at a gas station and your car's always on empty. Like, it's right there, bro. Like,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
a
listen,
weird
I'm
analogy,
obsessed.
but
Like, I'm so obsessed with income properties. Obsessed, and it's so wild. I mean, my day starts and ends on the MLS every day, and man, I'm just excited.
But
for
what
the
you
future.
focus on expands on it, and so like
Yeah.
you took that even last year, and look in the last 6 months you've sold 12, but before that you were putting the work in.
Correct.
Right. You know who else puts the work in? Our sponsors.
oh jeez, we
Our
haven't even
sponsors.
done. Okay, let's do it.
We will in a second. Calm down. These
Why are you
sponsors.
always trying to end
I
the
mean,
show?
No one's trying to end it. I'm just trying to give love to our sponsors,
Oh,
Brian.
and I have the question of the
And,
day. By the
yeah.
way.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
asking
Yeah.
you.
Oh,
sorry,
here we go.
I meant to tell you that
She
Beth
came
has the
prepared.
question.
I like this.
So, but our amazing sponsors, Mortgage Mike, mortgagemikeoftexas.com. Go over there and ask them for that Mortgage Mike stamp of approval. Theron Smith over at Armadillo Home Warranty. Go to armadillo.1/TOR, TORE. And Homeward Property Management. You know, what I will tell you right now is that we have had Dana go through the vetting process for Pad Split to
That'll be
become
wild.
a property manager for this. If you
yes,
remember, don't you remember,
we
Brian?
did. We're like an
Yeah.
approved manager now.
Yes, and so
That's fantastic
Yes.
because this is the thing. Like, it's not just going to be the clients who buy pad splits from you. This is going to be everyone. She'll have the
HomeWordDFW.com.
whole market.
Hell yes.
I feel like you guys pile so many houses on her every week.
Poor Dana.
We pile
We're
her
so
so
sorry.
much. So
We owe
many
her
houses.
nothing but the sincerest apologies every day. We make. It's a great opportunity. She's a majority owner in the company, but we do.
that's our job.
We rely on her in a
Look,
massive way.
We didn't say that for every property she manages, she's going to go adopt a puppy.
No, that's not true.
That's only
She's
fair
gonna
in
adopt a
Mortgage Mike.
lizard.
She love lizards.
I don't know. That just seems like a much more high maintenance animal.
Lizards?
Yeah.
I think those are less maintenance.
You got to feed them crickets and stuff, right?
Yeah, but you don't have to take them outside.
When I was a
Like,
kid-
I had a snake in college, and I'm going to tell
course
you
you
right
did.
now, that bitch died.
What do you have to? Did you feed it mice?
Oh, dude! Anybody who
Is it like,
lived on
what's it, Road
713
Trip?
Dickinson with me in the late '90s can attest to this. It was in a fish tank.
Yeah.
And it was a red-tailed boa constrictor.
Yeah.
And you had to feed it live mice, but it was also too stupid to attack the mice itself, so you had to give it an advantage. So you had to knock the mice out.
No,
There's
really?
only one way to knock a mouse out, and that is slamming that thing against the inside of the cage.
Bro.
now,
So I have
now
roommates.
PETA's going to come after us.
Hey,
You're
whatever.
right.
We'll
That
go,
is-
we'll go viral. We'll figure it out. Look, my roommates, and look, I'm gonna be super honest. So sometimes the first smack didn't put it out, and so like I remember one night coming home and having this mouse, I had to feed the snake, and just hard whipped that thing against the side. Went down. Snake had lunch, but here's what happened. We didn't keep the snake tank warm enough. So not only did we just sacrifice many mice because the snake ended up dying, the snake also needed to live in a much hotter environment than we had said snake in. So I came home one day, and two things happened. One, a regurgitated, half-digested mouth is about the most smelly things that you will ever smell
I
in your
can
entire
only imagine.
especially one that's been sitting under a heat lamp. And picking up a dead snake feels like something that's all supposed to be together coming apart.
Really?
So like snakes
It
are all
just kinda
muscle and
extends
ribs. So like
itself,
when
yeah.
you pick them up and they're dead, they just kind of it feels like a thing just going like if you just took an accordion apart.
Yeah.
So that was a bad day.
I do want to. Look, I haven't talked to a lot of people that own snakes, so maybe this is true and confirmed. I've
was
also
a bad
never heard
snake
that
burn.
before. I'm thinking Kelderman had a fucking lazy snake.
No, I think the college version of Kelderman probably wasn't the person who should have owned a snake.
That's
Considering
exactly.
said snake was purchased off returning the live coral from the saltwater tank that didn't work. So
He traded it for a snake.
yeah, saltwater live coral in a saltwater tank is mad expensive, dude. It is.
Why did
really
you have live coral?
Because I had saltwater fish, bro.
And those died?
Yeah, those died too.
So his fish died,
spent like
which are pretty
$2,500
easy to keep alive, and he traded in the coral for a
Saltwater fish
snake.
are hard. So I spent like $2,500 on fish and coral, and then I went and got a $200 snake. Ended up with nothing.
Yeah, you did buy the most like high maintenance version of fish. You had to have a saltwater tank and everything.
Yeah, I will tell you, if you live at 713 Dickinson Avenue in Ames, Iowa, you got about 9 dead animals buried in your bushes
You
between
buried
the
them in
snake
the
and all the saltwater fish.
At least you buried them.
We We did. We had
Oh my God.
they were expensive. I had a funeral.
You had a funeral? What was your snake's name?
Ares, because he was a red-tailed boa constrictor, so he's like the god of war.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Except
man.
he wouldn't eat a fucking mouse unless somebody
Nobody got
knocked
cold
it
and
out.
died. So, you know,
What's that movie with Tom Green in it where he's always watching
The road trip.
Yeah, Road Trip.
No,
Unleash the Fury.
that was
bitch.
100% watched in
That
my
was
college.
right in that same era. That probably came out when you had a snake.
Bro, I was in college from 97 till whenever I dropped out the second time.
When did Road Trip? I'm gonna say 97. When did Road Trip come out? The
dude, they're pretty
movie.
close.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna put it at no. Was it really?
Brian's so happy because this is easily
2000.
2000.
Okay, damn.
Dude, I was
All right.
Are
living
you
That-
that.
boys ready for my question?
Yes, we are.
Here for it.
Okay, here we go. If money is no option and you can have two vehicles, one is your daily driver, the other is your show off, what do you drive?
I'll answer first.
Okay.
We know math.
The Escalade was stolen, so I need that back all blacked out for my daily driver.
The same one that was stolen?
Not the same one, but
Okay,
like
just make sure.
probably like a 2019 though, because I don't like the new ones. They look
Yeah.
weird.
I like the new ones are badass.
like 'em. And I've always wanted an old, like, I don't know what year it would be, but the old Ferrari Testarossa.
Ooh.
Like what, the 80s?
Yeah, like the late
Or the
80s,
90s.
like the
The one
late
that's, like,
the late
boxy?
80s one is boxy and it's
Yeah,
got the
yeah,
little
yeah.
like it's red, but then it's got the weird
Yeah.
effects on the door instead of
Yeah.
black in it. Neither of that, like I've actually set up an alert for one of those coming to sale. They're actually not even like $200,000 for a nice one. Like they're not really outrageous for what you'd think a Ferrari would be.
Wow.
It's like this is only like $300,000 worth of car, and I could go way hotter.
Yeah.
But the little kid in me wants the Ferrari, and the grown up in me wants my damn Escalade back.
And you said, so the question is, like, do I also have a lot of money anyway?
Money is no.
Money's
so
no
listen,
option.
So
money's
money's
no
not-
option.
so that
you
means-
have to have two vehicles.
Only two? That's all I can have if I have money's
Listen,
no object?
You get to quantify it however you want. But
All right,
come
so
on.
here's what I'll have. So I'll have my regular F-250, right? So that one's my daily driver. I'm going to have a Ford Bronco,
You
the old
cannot
one.
name three cars.
No,
Like,
I'm
you
going
get
to.
two.
I'm
No,
gonna-
sweetie,
I told-
you can't.
First off,
cheat.
money's no object, and so I can make up any rule
So,
that I want to.
I'll pay you to change the rules.
Your current car that you already used. When was the last time you used the let's call it the F-250ness of it?
I have a trailer hitch on there.
Yeah, but what if you? When have you? I just say that because if you get not see Nick's car, it's ridiculous.
I bet Nick's
It's
truck
the
costs more than my
biggest
Escalade
version
did.
of the F-250 you can have.
Remember when he fell out of it?
He fell. It's so
How did he fall out?
big.
He's 6'3".
It's so big, he fell out of it and broke his ankle. And there's so much to this story that I love. Nick is recovering from a broken ankle
It's
right
fine,
now.
it's fine.
That he got from he got out of his car in the morning
That
at a
slipped.
gas station, stepped on the paint of the parking line,
It's slippery.
slipped and broke his ankle, and then had to call his wife to come pick him up.
No, I was
It
on the phone with
hysterical.
Chauncey.
Oh, yeah.
Chauncey then calls Heather.
Then calls us.
because I was about to pass out, and
was-
I was going to my daily 7-Eleven because that's
The funny thing is, I guarantee Chauncey and
That's
Heather.
coffee.
I guarantee Chauncey and Heather both laughed
did,
before
yeah.
they came to get you.
Yeah. What
I
Nick's
love
like, I'm
about
about to
this
pass
story-
out. Chauncey's
I
like,
was-
"Oh,
I
hold
was
on,
talking-
hold on. 7-Eleven
okay,
has
go
the
ahead.
best coffee, and
They
that's
do.
where I go get my
That's
scratchers.
That's where he gets his scratchers. That was part of the story.
Yeah.
Nick buys scratchers every morning. But I was
Not
talking with
every
him.
morning.
I
It
was
sounds like it sounds like I have a problem.
well, it's part of your routine. I was talking with Heather about this the other day. The funniest part of the story is like, can you imagine two things? Can you imagine just being a person at the gas station and you just see this bear of a man open his door, just collapse onto the ground and break his ankle? You're like, oh shit! Like, it's like I dead? Like, what do you do? And then Heather told me that Chauncey said that Nick, like, it happened so fast. Can you imagine being on the phone with somebody and then just having a normal conversation and then all of a sudden like, oh my god! Like, you start
I wasn't.
freaking out.
I didn't have that high pitch.
I broke my ankle.
It was more like. It was more like I don't know. It's like I can't even regurgitate it because you know when you roll something, or you do something so
Bro, when
bad.
you
that
want, like, you want to throw up.
it's
It
the,
hurts
it's
so
the
bad.
adrenaline. Like I felt
I
like
get goosebumps when I roll
yeah,
my
I
ankle.
felt like
hate
all
it.
the blood ran out of my body, and then like
I went right to your ankle.
Yes, I couldn't think straight, and I'm like, I'm either gonna throw up or pass out or both.
Every World War
Yes.
II veteran right now
Yeah.
is just judging.
This
niggas. Dudes have had their legs blown off, and niggas like, I rolled my ankle really bad
So,
when I was going to get
I'm
my
going back and
scratchers.
finishing my damn.
What is your show off car? You get one, sir.
I'll let you know. So it's an older Ford Bronco, lifted Ford Bronco, and I want a '69 Camaro, and I want a Mercedes.
Cut off.
The show-off car is the Mercedes 6x6.
This is, you know, this is
what's
actually,
the
I actually,
Mercedes?
now I'm just fine with every time Asher just doesn't listen to anything Nick says. I'm just fine with it. And he's like, Asher, pick one. And he's like, I want four. And then Nick's like, no, pick one. Asher's like, eat shit.
Yeah, but look up you'll see Mercedes 6x6. First off, it trumps every other vehicle out there.
Yeah,
It's
what
not-
is that?
So
Pull it
it's-
up, Jess.
Yeah, pull it up.
We're gonna get Jesse a car with air conditioning.
Yes, he does need a car with air conditioning. So Mercedes 6x6 is this. It's the truck vehicle of Mercedes. It's monster.
Oh, I've seen.
Yeah, it
I've
looks like a
seen pictures
G-Wagon.
of that,
It's a
yeah.
G-Wagon pickup.
Wild.
That's
Yeah,
tight.
G-Wagon pickup.
Wow.
That
It's a
has,
Chevy Avalanche with a Mercedes emblem.
That's wild.
It's so true. It's so true.
500. That's 500.
Wow.
That thing does look mean.
500 G's minimum.
Big ass
That is-
G-Wagon
it's a-
pickup.
that's-
For all of my Jeep people, and I know I personally know a lot of them, go Google that thing and tell me if you're okay with that. I feel like the Jeep people would just like shit on that
First
thing all
off,
day
when I
long.
own that, I'm like anybody that has a Jeep, they are not allowed to talk to me.
Whoa! Is there what is the so there's like the Ford Chevy or Ford GMC? What's the Jeep something competition that people either
Probably
like?
that
Jeep-
No,
Rubicon?
people just get their
Rubicon?
sweet Jeeps and
No,
then they spend like
Jeep-
another 100 G's
Oh,
on
yeah.
it, like making them.
No, like what
bend in half.
what do people that don't like Jeeps like that is similar?
Probably any other vehicle.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I don't see the allure of Jeeps, and that's not to be mean.
It's
I'm
a
not into it.
whole culture.
But yeah,
It is
they're
a
Jeep
culture.
people.
No, there's a Jeep.
No,
they
it's-
meet over by
doesn't-
Fuzzy Tacos by
Doesn't it
my
say,
house
doesn't it say on
every
there, like,
Saturday.
it's a Jeep thing or something like that?
Yeah.
That's sexual.
Did you guys know that Fuzzy's Tacos just got bought? Who did Fuzzy's Tacos just get bought by?
The like IHOP parent company.
Yeah, their tacos are gonna go to shit
Yeah.
now.
They've been a little downhill.
Are you
Maybe
done with
that's
your
right.
cars?
Yeah, that's the three. That's so my daily. I have four. So my daily driver, the F-250, the old Bronco,
recap.
lifted old Bronco, the '69 Camaro, and then the Mercedes 6x6.
Well, I'm gonna follow the rules.
Okay, go ahead.
My daily driver is my daily driver. I just got a brand new supercharged V8, brand new Jaguar F-Type coupe. And she's so sweet, and she roars, and
moves.
she's fast, and she's so fast,
Yeah.
and she's so sexy, and I love her every second of every day. My show-off car is very rare. It's a exotic. It's an Aston Martin Valkyrie. It's a
Ooh.
$3 million
I know what you're talking about.
fucking Batmobile metallic.
Didn't they have that
It's-
in one of the Bond movies?
Can you pull up a picture?
He
of
does
it?
drive a lot of Aston Martins. I don't know if he's
It
driven
is-
a Valkyrie.
The Valkyrie is so insane. It's just one of my favorite cars. I mean, sitting at a price of $3 million, I would say this would be my show off. Other than that, a jet.
Oh,
It
Oh,
is
that's
super
cool.
Batman-y. The cars with the wings on it just
Yeah.
make me feel like I should just have nothing to do with it. Like
There's
that's
no
I
way-
don't want it. It's just
That's
so.
sick.
Cool.
There's no way Matt and I fit in that car.
No, no way.
it's so sexy. Remember, like, there's so many good show off cars. Remember the old? Was it just the Roush that made their own coupe? Remember that one? That was from Bruce Almighty. What's it called? Roush. Just Google Roush coupe.
I'm just like this is where I'm at. Like I'm.
It wasn't Roush. It was the other one. Saline.
care about cars.
Saline
I don't know squat
S7.
about cars.
Dude, pull that up because that looks like an older version. That
Cars
looks
are-
like a newer version of a Saline S7.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it does look super similar.
Those are sick as hell.
Yeah.
That in the defense of her car has way more curves.
Oh, it's way newer and better and shit. But that was kind of like the original like one-off supercar.
I definitely like the question, but again, if money was an object, I'm not only having two cars.
Okay, I would
I'm
have a
sorry.
jet, bro, but it was two answers.
Do today's G-Wagons, you might know this, do they have any of the same like technology or like ruggedness of like their initial inception and purpose? Like G-Wagons are military cars.
They were. They're definitely a lot better now. Because
They're
everyone
like-
used to complain about the ride of them.
Yeah.
And they've improved that.
But they're still like bulletproof, basically. Probably
No,
not the windows,
no.
but like a commercial G-Wagon that I see on the
we already
road.
did this bit with Hummers. Like, didn't we already do that? Like, oh, I got
I think the thing of the Hummers were all for show, though.
Yeah.
Hummers were all for.
They
G-Wagons
made
can take a
three
punch.
of them. They made like three of them.
Dude, there's some like, end of the world type vehicles out there that
Oh,
are
they're running like oil and stuff.
That's
You see
why
that like the
Nick needs
Sherpa
his-
thing that like goes underwater? Like that thing's pretty.
No,
cool.
those
I don't know.
there's some trucks out there that I follow that I mean, look, they're bulletproof. They have infrared vision. They got everything.
Nick's going
And
back to
it's-
his pre-COVID pandemic prepping. And
Exactly.
I mean, who doesn't want a bulletproof vehicle though?
they don't.
Me?
What, look,
Why?
and you
I'm like
need
the only
really
Florida
heavy.
realtor that doesn't carry a gun.
Yeah, so you need a bulletproof vehicle then because
Nah.
you
Yeah,
don't
if you're
have
not
a
gonna
way-
be able to shoot
Yeah.
back.
It's my time. It's my time. I'm out. Peace.
I think that's just extra protection Nick needs because I know for a fact Christy Martin one
falling?
time broke her ankle and then continued to go to all of the bars on our tour de bar in Ames,
true.
Iowa in college. She stuck it out, but Nick couldn't.
Nick couldn't even.
Nick
get-
needs a bulletproof car.
First off,
for
you
his-
don't even
Did
know.
you still buy a
weak-ass
scratcher that
body.
day?
No, I did not.
He had Heather go in before they left real quick. Go give me a 20
Jesse's
grand.
show off.
This is a good one. So
This
yeah,
is
Jesse.
Jesse's
This
show
is
off.
young Jesse's. Oh,
Gorgeous. Wow.
The
That's
Shelby, the
1966.
Shelby Cobra reminds me of the end of Bad Boys
Yes.
And the guy's like racing the car and he can't get it out and they smash it.
Yeah.
I just
You
think Jared
guys
Jesse wants to steal heroin
are
from the
not
cops.
even mentioning the best car company on earth, and there's an undebatable
If you say Porsche, I'm going to punch you in the nuts.
Porsche Taycan,
I hate
best
that.
car on the market right now.
That your daily, which is fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
And like a matte gray or carbon fiber Ferrari 488. I like those a lot. A lot. A lot.
Can't
They're
into those.
expensive.
Matt, we can't get in
I
there.
just-
You can fit in the Taycan.
I'll tell you,
It's
Austin,
the same size as the Panamera.
My brother had the Lambo.
Yes.
And I looked like a newborn baby giraffe trying to get out of that thing. Like, it was awful.
Had to lube him up and shove him out the
Yes.
driver's door for the
It was
passenger side to
awful.
get him out.
Now, when he got the Audi A8,
Yes. That's
That
even
thing
smaller,
was
though, isn't
money, though.
that
It
thing,
looks
yeah,
awesome.
That white one?
Yeah, that white one. You
All
weren't y'all
right.
both
I
there?
was there when they unloaded it. It
Yeah.
was
That
awesome.
thing was
We were at your house when it was getting delivered. That's
Yeah.
right.
Got delivered at my house. That thing was the most comfortable, like easy to get into, most comfortable drive out
Really?
there. But it doesn't turn the heads.
No.
So he was like, I'm over it.
I dated a football player who's large, and he once got in my former coupe before this car, and he could not get out, and I had to put the top down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like 6'4", 300. He was a big guy. I had to actually get out and like push him,
Yeah.
and he rolled out and grabbed the sidewalk.
And
I
he's
was
like, look, we're taking my vehicle from now on.
I remember
His
that.
truck was huge.
I remember
Yeah.
that from Cribs. Shaq has a Lambo that doesn't have a top. It's not a convertible.
It doesn't have a
just took
back
it
seat.
completely
Like
out.
the front
it's
seat's
the
just
only
all the
way
way
you
to
can
the
fit
ass end.
into
Yeah.
it. So it just doesn't have a roof.
All right. This was a great show. Beth, where can people find you? We should have done that earlier.
So on Instagram, it's at Florida Moves with Beth. But my name is Beth Silverman. Look for me on Facebook, Instagram. Really, Instagram is the best way to connect with me because I get 8,000 text messages a day.
Yeah.
Just you're getting buried. Don't just call me without an appointment. That's never going to happen. So Instagram is where I'm looking to connect. If you're a cigar smoker, find me in St. Pete at Cigar Paradise. If you smoke cigars anywhere else, especially in a pad split city, call me and invite me, and I'll be on a plane.
You guys want to go to Fuego tonight?
if I can make it.
I would love to.
Yeah.
That's what Nick
I
always
have a whole
says.
crew.
I can
Yeah.
100% come after this little
Yeah,
violin
yeah.
situation.
My
We gotta
friend
come.
is the he owns a big digital media
Are we
company.
going to smoke
He's
cigars
speaking
tonight?
at
Yeah, I
Media
think we're gonna
Summit.
make it.
Yeah.
Do we have
Okay.
any plans?
Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
100%.
It have to be a
Fuego.
little bit later though.
Like, I could
Hey,
talk to
Victoria,
you.
if you're
He has a
watching, we got
birthday
plans tonight,
party.
babe.
Yeah, I honestly I could geek out with you, especially.
Let's
like,
fucking do it.
dude. I love.
All right,
you
while they're
guys.
geeking
Let's
out,
hang out
You
tonight.
guys are
It's
amazing.
BYOB.
make sure to go to our Facebook group, the only real estate group worth being a part of. We're doing a very piss poor job of
You could
getting
connect
people
with me
over
there too, though.
You
I'm
gotta
on
get some
there.
I
Beth
gotta get some
Silverman
more
on
food
there.
in me. That Christmas party took it out of me last
we
night.
need to ask Brian about the Christmas party, the DPR Christmas party. You can also make sure to leave us some reviews. Go to YouTube, subscribe to our channel. We haven't done any of that. And go use our sponsors, Mortgage Mike, mortgagemikeoftexas.com, Armadillo Home Warranty, armadillo.1/tour, and our property management company who's going to manage all our pad splits, homewardDFW.com. And thank you, Beth, for coming in.
Love
it
you
was
guys.
very
This was so
enlightening.
much
We love
fun.
you.
Yeah.
And
If you're in Frisco, Texas tonight, apparently come to Fuegos around 7:30. We'll probably be there.
Main Street and the Tollway.
Later, geeks.
hey, thank you for watching. We truly appreciate it. Checking out another episode of the only real estate podcast worth listening to. If you're watching this on YouTube, please go ahead, hit that share button, hit that like button, and hit the subscribe button. Right? We're dropping more stuff on YouTube constantly. If you're on iTunes, leave us a review, please. We're really, really focused on building up those reviews so we can get more searchable content on there. And if you're on Facebook, like everyone else is, go over and search the only real estate group worth being a part of. You're going to want to go join that group. I'm telling you right now, there's so much gold in there. So go join, share us on YouTube, and leave us that iTunes review, please. Go do it right now. We'll see you on the next show.